We are running through Out of the Abyss. We'll get to where the characters are and what they might encounter
Whoa,
tonight
thanks for the jams,
in a minute.
man!
20 Sides to Every Story is a online platform largely dedicated to D&D, but we do a lot of RPGs and
Whoa,
other
thanks for the jams, man!
games, video games, computer games. Uh, and it's pretty active. So if you're interested in learning more about us, two ways right off the bat I can tell you. One is to follow this uh, Twitch channel so that you learn when we're online. Most often it's about this time every night of the week, and sometimes twice a day on Saturday and Sunday. We have a pretty robust schedule, and so typically there's something going on every night. The other way you can see what we're up to is by joining our Discord channel. Our Discord server is extremely active all times of day, and we talk about lots of nonsense and some good info, but a lot of nonsense. But it's a very active community, nice people, friendly people, and we are always welcoming to new people. So please stop by and check it out. For those of you who have watched some of our streams or played in some of our games and enjoyed it, we have two ways to support the channel. The best is through our Patreon. Patreon allows you access to our community campaign games. Those are normally Friday nights. Alex runs them, and we're running through two they're not called scenarios, two modules from Goodman Games. One is Expedition to the Barrier Peaks, and that's tier 2, and then our tier 1 module right now is the Lost City, which is where we just finished our second session of that. So those are every Friday night. We alternate. And if you join the Patreon, you get access to the slots, and it's a drop-in, drop-out game. When we have slots left over, then the subscribers to the Twitch channel get access to those. And so normally there's a slot or two left. And so we later in the weeks we release those. It is a really, really great way to be involved in the community. Really great way to spend your Friday night, and we have quite the cast of characters, rotating characters who come in and out of these games, and so you will definitely make some stories and hear some stories. The only other thing I wanted to point out before we get to our game is that coming up pretty soon in November, the channel has always been a strong supporter of Extra Life. And Extra Life this year, we have a number of DMs who are running their own games, and all the info is in the chat right now. You can check it out. Alex, you're gonna have to help me out with this. We are now, the channel is, what's the designation?
We are going to be ambassadors with Jasper's Game Day. Basically, what that means is we commit to running at least one 5-hour event a year to help support and raise money for local suicide awareness or prevention centers. The one that we've done things with in the past has been the Center for Suicide Awareness, which is here in Wisconsin. It's sort of local, but it's also not, because really their big initiative is that they support a helpline that isn't necessarily specifically for suicide awareness. It's more about like emotional support and things like that, but it is a national, actually international resource. So that's likely the group that we will partner with to raise some money. So, we'll have more information about that as time goes on. But we're excited about that, being able to be associated with them and help out their huge initiative. It's really blown up over these past couple of years, and so it's just kind of cool to see how that has grown and impacted so many people.
Absolutely. And your support of the channel means a lot to us and helps us do things like that and run these games and support these various charities. So thank you. And thanks to Alex for not only hosting us on this game, but also for being the producer for us. He does all the behind the scenes work, so I can not pay attention to technology. Um, so I'm gonna go. We're missing one of our faithful few, so we will put some story armor on him in a minute. Um, but why don't we go around and um, you all um, have been in the Underdark now for maybe 2 or 3 weeks at this point, at the least. Some of you are coming on the month, I would say. And it is. I'd love to hear what you would be doing now if this whole shenanigans never happened. Like, what do you think? Where would you be? So we'll go around real quick. I'll start with Dolphix.
Okay, hello, my name is Dolphix. I'm a gnome trying to learn a little bit of magic in my old age. Um, I've been down here for quite a while, actually. And I guess if I wasn't down here running for my life, and everything was normal, a normal day, I'd be um, up topside, teaching the little ones how to uh, fight with the blade and you know acting as guard for my master. It's a good day's work.
All right. Thank you. Drazzle.
I was heading to preach the word. My lizard folk village was tired of me hanging with the old people and asking in the sun. So I was going to go preach out the word when it's happening. And I think if I was not here, that I would probably be out somewhere catching some sun and relaxing, waiting for a nice sun shower.
Okay. How about Jason?
Well, I'm Jasa. I really don't know what I'd be doing. I was at a bit of a transition in my life when I was taken. I had finished my indenture and was free to pursue my own ends. I imagine I'd have headed back to Calimport to see if my folks are still doing well. And I don't know. It would be the first time in 5 years that I had my freedom to do as I pleased.
Okay. And last but certainly not least, Vic.
Well, I'm sure that if I was not here in this current situation, what I would be doing is I would be doing everything in my power to help my brother and sister improve their performances. You know, I love them to death, but I've seen them on the stage, and Dara, my sister, her singing voice is completely flat. So I'd be giving her notes, I'd be marking up, giving her all of my notes, help her out with her performance. That's just the kind of brother I am, and my older brother Ren, his acting is. He has a tendency to have some stilted performances himself. He's just too self-aware, and so I'd be giving him notes about little things that he could be doing to really bring out the characters that he's presenting. And I'd even show him exactly how I would do it if I was him. So that's what I'd be doing. Well, I don't know what you mean.
Joining the four of them is Zaum, who is not with us tonight. Zaum is an SMR paladin, and he probably right now would be spoiling someone's day, if I could best guess what he would be up to on the surface. So our characters all individually found themselves as prisoner of the Drow, dragged well into the Underdark beneath the Earth's surface, and put in a prison with a number of other individuals who I'll talk about in just a second. And the group of them managed to escape their drow captors um, through some luck and through some conspiring. And they set off into the Underdark. Two different groups split up to try to throw off the drow to make sure that they weren't recaptured. Along the way, the group that the party is in, they have encountered some unusual features of the Underdark, particularly as they have gotten to know it a little bit better. With them are a couple of other characters. We have Shushnyar, who is a Koatoa, who, unlike the rest of his brethren, he has adopted a way of non-violence, complete pacifism. And it's him who is pushing the party towards a fairly big fishing village on the edge of Dark Lake. And the idea is that if they get to Dark Lake by land, then they can use boats to get across Dark Lake to Grecklestow. And in Grecklestow, they would meet up with the rest of their group, who separated from the prison when they broke out. So Shushnar is sort of leading the way. The next, probably most savvy about how the Underdark works, is another drow, actually, who has teamed up with them. This drow, he was in prison because he flew into a fit of rage and murdered one of the drow. And he has no recollection of this happening to him. But he was thrown in prison, and he saw his opportunity and broke out with the prisoners. He has quite a bit of knowledge about how to survive in the Underdark, and so has been pretty useful up to now. There's another, maybe surface worlder, I'd call her. Eldeth is a shield dwarf from Gauntlgrim. Gauntlgrim's in sort of the area that's underground, like most dwarven villages are. But it's not quite deep enough to be in the Underdark itself, but it certainly is adjacent, let's say. And so she has some knowledge of the Underdark, but not a lot. And then last, but certainly not least, they have a small myconoid sprout who's been following them around, who is pretty defenseless, besides the fact that he can look like a mushroom when he needs to. And he... Stool is his name. Stool has been sort of at the mercy of the party as he's trying to get back to a place called Neverlit Grove, his home. And so the group of them have traveled now for almost 10 days since they left the prison. It was day 9. No, day 10, actually. It was day 10 when... headed towards Sloobludop, which is where Shushnyar was in the Dark Lake. They've gotten to an area where they, it's definitely clear they are very close to Dark Lake itself. It's there's a lot more standing water around them. They're having to navigate some water features as they go through. And so they had an unusual encounter at the last part of our session last week, in that they came across a party of other Koatoa, and Shushnar, being very excited about this, approached, only to find out that these Koatoa worshipped an unknown entity, someone called, I'll find it in a minute, I didn't look it up, and it threw him off. And in fact, they then tried to capture the party completely. The party was able to, with some luck and with some help from the audience, to fight off the group, and we left them right after their fight ended. And so I just wanted to go through, because I don't think we discussed last time that there's probably some equipment on these guys that you may want. So let's talk about that real quick.
They have food.
They didn't have food.
Make soup from their bones.
Um, if you want.
Me ask team.
Well, I mean, the frog people, but I'm just kind of, and I'm considering what to tell Drazzle, but I'm looking over in the direction of Shushnar
This
and
still
trying to like
falls-
maybe, I don't know. That's such a good idea to be suggesting that.
Bill was bad, but now eat.
This
Eat
still
or rot.
falls within the. I don't like to eat things that I'd previously been speaking to.
No one talked, Drazzle.
All right, which is why I'm a vegetarian.
It would be a problem. I don't speak to animals, so I don't have much trouble eating many of them.
Draz, I got a question for you. If one of
Yes,
us would be in this deceased state, would you consider eating us?
Me ask you a question. You
Okay.
prefer rat eat you? You prefer animal eat you? Something eat you. Me friend. Me strong because me eat you. Me carry
Okay.
you with me.
That's
We're
a
good.
That's a surprisingly good argument.
Yeah.
You me as team. Even in death, I take you with me. I tell you
Wow.
this. I die, I want you eat me.
Okay, I'm not making any promises that way.
We make deal. Shake?
Well, I'll shake on the. How about this? I'm okay. You want to eat me? That's fine. But I just don't know.
You you think on this.
I'll think about it, Drazzle.
Shushnar, you see Shushnar and Sareth, who's the drow, sort of conferring, and Shushnar is he was bruised up a little bit during that fight, but he's getting up and sort of brushing himself off, his big unblinking eyes staring at you, and Sareth says, we need to make a decision. This is Shushnar still wants to push on towards Sloobludop. I suggest we move, whatever we do.
I think we can continue on to Sloobludop, but I think perhaps we should be more cautious than we'd intended on approaching the village.
Shushnar walks over and says, I think we're only about an hour away. It's pretty close.
Well, let's see what is useful on these fallen foes here.
So you guys, if you guys want, there are nets which they were attacking you with, and spears. And then let me see if they were wearing armor. No, but they all have shields.
I could see a net proving useful. I'd take a net.
Rip, feel free to add that to your.
Is there enough for each of us to have one?
Yeah, there were 5 of them. So
Okay.
wait, more than 5, 7. So
I'll take one.
Yeah. And could I possibly fashion? There's a net that I could, with a little bit of time, maybe fashion into something to hold things with. I mean, a net holds things. I could wrap stuff up in it.
I think you guys. I mean, you can, but you guys are pretty good for pouches at this point.
Hey, it's his kind of thing. He likes to repurpose things.
It's an aesthetic.
Uh,
Not bad.
and yeah, and so there's you see some some tokens of this other god, and you actually see Shushnar. It's probably the most violent thing you've seen him do. He picks one of these things up and he sort of throws it on the ground, and you see him step on it and hear a crack.
Vic will go over there to kind of observe that and say, Shushnar, I understand you want to go to Sloobludop, but Seems like this has got you all riled up. This other god that you said that they're worshiping. Are you sure that your people in Sloobludop, aren't tied up in all this? And
I don't know. I think it sounds the way they made it sound. The Sea Mother no longer has power. Now it's this dark, deep father. I don't. This is very unusual. I don't know how the sea. I haven't been gone that long, but I suspect that perhaps they need me more than I thought they need me. If there is truly some sort of chaos in the city.
Shushtarman, the thing you worship, is a good god.
He just sort of stares at you with unblinking eyes. So like he didn't really understand the question.
Your god good, other god bad. Yes?
I am not. I'm not a holy man. I know that change is bad. Staying the same is the better thing. So if change is ripping through the city, we need to squash that.
is there a time in your people's history where this other god was dominant, or why are you so fearful of this?
I've never heard of this god,
Oh, okay.
but it's not that unusual. Our gods come and go.
Okay. What will you do when you get to Sloobludop? What is your plan?
Well, I think we should go talk to the priests of the Sea Mother. I trust. I trust them.
Do you think there still are priests of the Sea Mother?
Oh, I hadn't considered that. I would hope so.
If what this other one told you is that the Sea Mother has been banished or defeated by this Deep Father, then what do you think happened to the priesthood of the Sea Mother?
Those of you who are trained in, what do I want? You can be religion or arcana. If you're trained in either of them, you guys can make a check here. So
Only one god.
yeah, Vic, you I would say you remember a weird story, like from like just myth, like the general myth that you sort of have access to, and the being of the dramatic persuasion. You feel like you've heard that Koatoa just sort of like change gods, like you change, almost like you change outfits. So sometimes they come back, sometimes they like it's. You're not sure of the mechanism, but it's maybe they have one god, maybe they have a god that changes, maybe they change gods. It's not really clear. They're always Koatoa gods. It's not like they adopt someone else's god. But it's unusual. Like it's one of the really weird races is that they seem to be really fleeting with their gods.
So whatever my conception of Koatoa is, do I believe that they actually worship what I would consider, like what Vic would consider a true god, or do I think that they worship like animals or strange creatures or things like that?
A treasure chest at the bottom of the sea that occasionally bubbles open. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Clamshell.
I think you would recognize that it as a god. Like I think.
Okay.
Like you definitely wouldn't. I don't think you are. And correct me if I'm wrong. If I'm saying something about your character. So, I don't think you would ever have been in a position to like evaluate like. Oh, I don't think like gods are omnipresent in the Forgotten Realms, right? So like to say I don't believe that is a god is a bold statement
Okay.
in the realm. But if you like,
Yeah, more like do I think that they actually have some kind of faith tradition that is real versus like worshiping something, like in the material plane that they just call a god. Um,
yeah, you're
so
pretty sure there's a god.
so Vic is going to say to Shushnar, I agree with what Jason is saying. If you think that this god is in peril, I I worry about what that means about those that worshipped her. If you're gonna go talk to whoever may be in charge, I think that could be dangerous for you.
Oh, I will be all right, my friend. I appreciate the worry. You have always sought to act as a protector by using violence, but I'll remind you, I don't need your violence to protect me.
Shushna, had we not done so, you'd be dead or captive of these things.
But perhaps that's what I was meant to be. If I was a captive, I would probably be a few steps closer towards Sloobludop right now.
Maybe you should stay here then. Their friends will come looking. You can go with them.
Where will you go?
Draw a map.
We've come this far, Drazzle. I think one way or another we have to go to Sloobludop. Those drow are on our heels. This is our best chance to elude them. But I think we've got to be ready for some complicated times in front of us. And, Shushnar, you're a part of us. We're not going to just, let you walk to your whatever demise. Yeah, exactly. You would have been dead had we not been here. Your nonviolence, I get it. I can appreciate it, but that was not going to be the correct answer to this situation we are leaving behind right here. I'm going with you. I'm going to protect you.
Shushna, as you have indicated, we are dependent on you as well. And had you been killed by these things, we would lose the benefit of your help.
Well, I will make sure that I will do my best to keep harm coming to you. I can promise that.
Speaking of which, that fight took an awful lot out of me. Perhaps we should take a short rest before we head on to Sloobludop?
Very well. I have a bruise here on my knee I might take care of.
I have one hit point.
Yeah, I think that answers that question.
Yeah, I'm out of all my spell slots are gone, so I can't help with that just by a spell or whatever. So if we've,
Or,
what does Sarah think in terms of how?
I wonder. Hold on. Let me see how bad Sareth is.
Barrett went down, so he's probably...
Yeah. So.
Is Eldred still alive?
Everyone's alive.
Everyone's alive.
Eldith is about halfway down. Sareth is incredibly about below a third. So I think Sareth says yes, but we if you plan to go into Sloobludop, we can take a short rest. I understand being prepared for that, but if we choose to keep running through the Underdark, I think we need to make some more distance from this, the noise we just generated here.
I think we take a short rest and we proceed on to Sloobludop. And we be prepared for the eventuality that perhaps we don't stop there long.
I think when we hit town, we should be ready to fight, or run, or die.
No, Shushnar says. It'll be like that's I can't. If you're going to be my guest, you can't be violent.
We're not violent.
We will not instigate anything, but we will defend ourselves.
he sits down, and you see him um, sort of encourage Stool to run over to him, and Stool runs over. And you see the two of them sort of like he's massaging Stool's head, which apparently Stool likes. And you playing a little game, and Stool seems quite happy. So take your short rest. It passes without a problem. Without, yeah, I said without, right? Without a problem. So whatever you need to do, hit dice wise, nice.
Do we have Song of Rest?
Uh,
I don't know what level you get that.
Song of Rest, yes.
Okay, cool.
Shushnar, I think particularly since you had that conversation with Vic, and it's not going to be a secret conversation, so all of you can hear it. Shushnar is sort of near, more than halfway through the short rest, says, "You will forgive me if I stay in Sloobludop, right? Like if I think there's a need. I do feel like everything has pushed me towards it. You would allow me that favor if I felt it necessary."
Who you asking?
Vic, but all of you can hear.
Oh, Shushnar is saying that he would stay?
Yeah, like that Shushnar would stay amongst his people.
Well, of course. I mean, this is your home, right? This is what you've been working towards since captivity is coming here. You know, we're all trying to get our way home. So, you're the first one here. But
I didn't want you to I didn't want your promise of protection to mean that if you thought I was unsafe amongst my own people, that you would force me to leave.
Well, we're going to come with you. We're going to make sure, if things aren't safe there, based on what you've said, it means something unnatural is happening or there's some influence. We're going to figure that out. We're going to work on this together. We'll figure it out. One way or another, you're going to be safe in your own home.
But you do have freedom to make that decision.
Well, thank you. I don't. I wish to see you also get to your homes. I don't. This isn't. I understand this isn't the place you want to stay. But I do feel like the revelation that I've received is something I need to. It's specifically meant for my people. And if I left, I wouldn't be able to share it with them.
Shushnar, as foreboding as this place is, and as much as I'd like to not be chased, there are ways that this is better than where I've been before.
He says, then when we arrive, I'll take you. I think I'll take you first. We the way I envision this, we rarely have visitors on this far across the deep lake. But if I travel with you into the gates and into the village, you should be okay. And what I will do, I think, is I'll bring you to one of my schoolmates, and we can keep you in his den. If you wander out alone without one of us, I fear that strangers aren't welcome. They're not unwelcome. They're just not. You look weird. Like, I can't tell if you're trying to say hi to me when you blink, but it's just very strange. And if it's strange for me, and I've traveled quite a bit, I can't imagine what it would be like for the rest of my village.
Is there anything that we can do to try to, not be so threatening or so ominous?
I think you'll see we're a bit more free than you are. We I don't have the words for it in common. Um, you'll see. I think maybe you'll learn a thing or two. But I think the best bet, at first at least, until you get your bearings, is to lay low and to not. Um, it I can run errands for you if there's things you need to buy, um, and or people you want to meet. Certainly, I can show you the town. I'm just without me or without my schoolmate. I think it's best that you stay somewhat hidden.
Do you think, Shushna, that these spears and whip and nets and things that we've collected here, do they have any value? Could we take them and sell them, or trade them?
Oh, maybe the shields. Shields aren't common, but we are mostly fishermen, so nets and spears are everyone has a number of them.
Well, let's collect a few of the shields, then perhaps we can trade them for something useful.
You think we need money? I carry. I have net bag.
I don't know that we'll need money, but there may be things we'd like to trade for, and I know we don't have much.
You have some gems in the quartermaster.
Mhm.
Had some, so yeah, there's a couple things, but yeah, absolutely, you can do that. He Shushnar tells you a little bit more about the city. Like it's not a city, it's a village. But he says like there's no such thing as an inn. Like it's not. It's just the dens where these Koatoa live, and then there's like a statue to the Sea Mother, which is probably the biggest thing in town, like the biggest focus of anything.
Definitely be keeping an eye out for that as we're making our approach.
Yeah. So the rest of the, if you guys are finished with the short rest, it's pretty quiet. You don't detect any sign of drow behind you or anything. And you guys set off to the last stretch before you get to Sloobludop. About, I would say, maybe 20 minutes into the walk, you guys are walking, and Shushnar, you can tell he's much more confident about where he's going. And he does tell you that the Deep Lake is, he doesn't know the word, but you guys quickly pick up that it's tidal. So that as he's walking through these areas, some are sometimes flooded, other times they're not flooded, things like that. So he's trying to figure out like the best path through. And you guys come to you start to walk out into a large cavern, and you can hear, like, those of you who don't have dark vision, and those who do have dark vision, you can tell there's large stretches of water to both sides of you. Just you can hear the that echo and that sloshing sound. And you're walking through maybe 100, 200 feet, when suddenly you realize that in front of you the land ends and it's just water. You're basically on a peninsula, really, really narrow one. And you hear movement in front of you, just out of like dark vision sight.
Are we still having to create water and all the other things?
No, so you guys you're still in a day where you already did it.
Okay.
And then after this, we'll talk about the logistics of what happens after this. But for today, you're fine.
So we're probably in that movement order pattern of who's in front. And...
Yeah, that's fair. Let's go.
When I hear the movement, I will attempt to hide.
Okay. There's not a whole lot of places to hide, but there's some rocky surfaces. Like it's not flat either. It's not sand or anything.
I'm doing it by feel because I can't see.
Okay.
I mean, I guess Drazzle, do you have light on?
I have my light on my hat, sitting up.
Okay. Well, then there's probably no point in hiding because if I've heard something, it's probably already seen us as we're in light.
And you hear a voice come out of the darkness, and the voice is in a language none of you understand, but you definitely recognize what, like, it is the language of Koatoa people. Like, it's very unique, gurgling sort of language. And Shushnar sort of like perks up when he hears it, and he doesn't say anything, but he whispers to the rest of you. He says, "They're more. I think they might be friendly. What should I do?"
Talk to him. Ask him how things. How far have we traveled? How far do we think we are from Sloobludop?
Oh, probably like within, like, most likely, like if you were not underground, you could probably see it. You're probably,
Okay.
you know, within less than half a mile of it. Is your best guess?
Maybe just tell them your story, that you've been held captive. Give them a sense of how long you've been gone. Maybe they'll give you an update or some news of what's going on in town.
All right, I need. Can everyone make me perception checks real quick? This is sound. So, Dolphix, Jasa, Drazzle. You hear movement coming behind you.
I turn and ready my spear towards the rear,
Okay.
ready to see what's coming next.
You hear Shushnar start to say out to the front of him, and he says, you hear him start talking again. And you hear some back and forth. You hear, it sounds like Shushnar is getting a little excited, like it's speeding up. You're not sure what. And then finally,
Does it sound positive?
it's so foreign to you.
Okay.
You know how Scott knows this from Eastern Europe. Some languages, when people are excited, it just sounds really angry. It's that sort of thing.
Okay.
You're not really sure what to make of it, but he eventually turns to you and says, "It's the archpriest of the Sea Mother in front of us, Ploplepleen. He's a good man. I'm sure it's him."
And who is it behind us?
And Shushnar, you hear, says something, and you see torches light up behind you. Sorry. Shushnar says something to Ploplepleen, or the person who seems to be Ploplepleen, and Ploplepleen yells out, and you see torches appear behind you, and you see torches appear in front of you, and they're not really. I shouldn't say torches. You see light appear in those two places, and you can see armed Koatoa, similar to what you saw before. But Shushnar, the minute he sees the light in the distance, he says, "Look there! He's wearing the symbol of the Sea Mother right there." And I don't think you guys would necessarily know what to look for, but he seems very confident that this is
But this is a good thing.
So this is a friend.
I know him. He's a very good man. He is the most religious amongst the order of the Sea Mother. He can tell us what is going on.
Well, then ask him what is going on.
Can we not go to him?
You go to him. You talk.
Is he asking that we do?
His people are behind us. Hold on. And you can definitely, with the light on, you can see these figures, but they're maybe like 100 feet out. Like it's not like you can make out a lot about these figures.
They're armed, but are they brandishing weapons? Are they?
No, they're like they're loosely, like you can see, like
Okay.
their spears. Their nets are not out at all. Their spears are just using to like lounge on. That sort of thing.
Okay.
And you can see the ones behind you are much closer than the ones in front of you. Shushnar says, he starts talking again in his language, and he says, wait here. And you see Shushnar jump in the water. And you hear him swim away, and eventually you see his form sort of pop up on the other side. And you can hear them talking. Now you can see behind you, there's maybe 3 or 4 of them behind you, and 3 of them are close enough. Like, and it's just really, like, you got a little bit used to this with Shushnar, but because Shushnar is actually, like, interactive, maybe you dismissed it. These guys are just standing there, and it's like staring at a fish. Like, you unblinking, just staring. Like, they don't, and like, they also like can't stand still. So they're like, they sort of drift. They're and they're on land. So it's a really weird, like almost like little kids in kindergarten who just like can't, like, they have to fidget. They're not fidgeting though, they're just moving. And it's just really, it's really alien.
But they're not threatening us.
No, they're clearly just like hanging out, as far as you can tell.
Could
I go walk to one?
Yeah.
Hello. You know my words?
You hear, like, he turns to one of the other ones, and he the other one doesn't respond, and he looks back at you.
I pat my belly, point at my mouth, pat my belly again with my teeth. Food?
Make me a performance check. While Drazel's doing that, for those of you in the audience, I just want to encourage you, and I saw that
I think this is an attack.
Pruno did it a little earlier.
Yeah, I got that updated. Thank you,
So
Pruno.
Thank you, Pruno, and thank you guys for those of you who sent in the cheers. The experience store is open for us. It works slightly different, but with the same intent. So please feel free if you want to help these guys out. Buying inspiration actually just goes to a pool of rerolls, so you don't have to indicate who gets it. And they can use it for a variety of things, which we've talked about. You can introduce complications if you want by buying a random monster. You can buy healing potions, etc., etc. So please feel free to interact with the group. They certainly the rerolls last session came in significant help. And I am not 50% of Alex. I am maybe at the most 5% of Alex. So
I'm still working on those levels.
There's no way I could ever be 50% of Alex. So, all right. So, good.
Seeing what Drazel is doing, I'm imagining this looks quite terrifying to these Koatoa. So I'm gonna pull out my dulcimer and try to make some music to make it seem like this is like an intentional performance art kind of thing, and that he's not suggesting that he's going to eat all of them.
Okay, you can also make a performance check for me. funny. So, I, one of them sort of like floats over to you, but walks, but floats. Like it's just a weird, like they walk funny. Like everything about them is like they're in water, but they're not. Like like they're not used to being on land. It's just really weird. He walks over, and what were you playing again? Your dulcimer?
Dulcimer.
Yeah. So I think he like, um, he sort of touches it.
And I'll kind of like hand it to him and kind of strum one of the strings and see if he reacts to that at all.
I think he like you see him. I don't know what it's called in music. Like he takes his little like a little scaly hand, um, and he pulls up one of the strings to see how strong it is.
And I'm just like,
Like he's
oh,
yeah
I don't like that.
he's evaluating it for something completely different than the sound. Like it's obvious to you that he's not. This isn't. Yeah.
I'm just like, mm-hmm. Like, it's good. No, no.
And,
Hands right here, like this. Just
Vic,
like,
you trade him thing for food. Smart.
I guess
he just
that's
sort
what's
of like
happening. That's what...
he just sort of like I don't know. He loses interest pretty quick, and you see him sort of float back.
I'll inspect it for damage. See how much
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to spend at the repair shop when I get home.
By now you hear a splash, and then you hear another splash. And Shushinar appears a short time later with someone in tow. And you see, let's see, maybe I have a handout. I keep forgetting to use these. I can't promise anything because also me having to spell this name. Let me just do Ploop. No, I don't. I won't know for sure. So yeah, you see a Koatoa, dressed now in like some fabrics. The fabrics are clearly like Shushinar is wearing better clothes than this guy is. Just made out of like you see out of some mushrooms, like some of the materials you've experienced already. Some like plant life, probably underwater plant life. He doesn't smell good at all. I mean, Shushinar is a dream compared to this guy. But he is wearing around his neck. He's wearing a small icon, and it is what is it? It is like a brightly colored stone. And he starts to talk to you in the language. And Shushinar looks at him and says something in response. And he's like, you see him nod, and you see him start to cast a spell. Any of you reacting to spell casting?
Would I know what this spell is? I have like comprehend languages and such language spells. Would I recognize any of the signing?
Make me a quick Arcana check, or actually just make me a Charisma check. Whatever. Yeah, it would be Charisma.
Oh, sorry, it was a saving throw, but
Yep, I could just subtract from it. So, yeah, you get the feeling you've heard that this just might be something similar to comprehend languages.
okay.
It completes, and you hear him talking in your language. suddenly. And he says, my apologies. I'm Plupluplene. I'm the archpriest of the Sea Mother, Blibdblop. Um, I'm I'm truly blessed today because she has answered my prayers and delivered you onto us. You will help us, and she will reward you for your service. Yes.
Well,
Is
that's
possible?
interesting what you just said there. So your goddess, still okay.
But why would she not be okay?
Well, I have
But
no
she needs.
reason.
We was
She and I.
attacked.
We need your help.
We was attacked by non-goddess people. Who them?
Oh, the Deep Father. He warps the mind, or his people warp the mind. Even my daughter, my poor daughter.
Why your daughter poor? Give her money. She fine.
He just stares at you, unblinking. Looks at
You,
Shushin. Expecting.
yeah, your daughter's wrapped up with these deep father worshippers, huh?
Oh, Blubbleblold. She she had a vision, and she says, she says, the Deep Father, the true way now. That he's the new god of the people. And she leave home.
What is difference between these two gods of yours? Me God about sun. Sun give light, sun give power, sun make food, sun good. Everyone know this. You gods. What make one good, one not good?
Visionary's bad. And he looks at Shushina. And he says, visionaries disrupt. Poor Sloobludop. Sloobludop divided in half now. Bad omen.
And what would the Sea Mother want of us?
Um, well, maybe not the sea. Well, the Sea Mother, definitely. But I have a plan. Um, but I need someone who is not Koato, not one of us. Um, there's I don't know what the Deep Father intends. His followers sacrifice things and chum the water, and something terrible consumes it. He does not. The Deep Father does not ask for Koatoa sacrifices. He asks for humanoid sacrifices. If I bring you to the Archpriest of the Deep Father, I will kill him, but I cannot get close to him without a peace offering, a sacrifice. And Shushnar, you see, just look horrified and disgusted and everything about this thought. You will not be helpless prisoners, I promise. You will be infiltrators. If you disrupt the ritual, you weaken the Deep Father, and we cut off the head of his stupid cult.
So you want murder, bad priest?
I want the rot cut out.
So murder by cut.
I'm interested in hearing what Shushnar has to say about this.
Shushnar says, he's like, oh, he did. So his tongue's on him, so he can hear everything. So he says, he's like, this is the madness that consumes them that I talked about.
You mentioned your people had a fisher people. I didn't know that you were bringing us to a situation where we'd be the bait for this whole big thing.
I am shocked a little bit. I know his daughter. I am shocked. Whatever vision she saw, I am shocked that he would suggest this even to us.
What would be your choice? Would you choose that we help, or that we move on?
I must repair the schism in Sloobludop. That I know. I don't know if this plan is right though. And
Well,
he looks at Sloobludop, and he says, I am sorry. There's much you don't understand. I myself have seen a vision.
No disrespect to your priest here. However, Shushna, we owe you some loyalty, and we owe him none. So, if you would have us help, we may. I don't mean to speak for everyone.
This is madness. This is using violence to end violence. This never works.
Do you believe that these worshippers of this Deep Father are able to be reasoned with? Would they have a rational? Is there any rationality between these two faiths?
Make me a quick persuasion check. So he says this is a cult. I don't know. You're asking the archpriest, right?
Actually, I was trying to get Shushnar's perspective. I think I know what Blue Clean would say.
Yeah. So Shushnar says, I if what he says is true, these people sacrifice and throw these sacrifices into the water, into the deep lake. That's I think I've been calling it Deep Lake because I'm planning a trip to Deep Lake Creek in Western Maryland. It's Dark Lake. The Sea Mother doesn't ask that. This is unusual behavior. We are a people who are willing to use violence, but not one that is consumed by it. Or maybe we are. I don't. Can these people be reasoned with? I don't know. I don't. The influence of whoever this Dark Father is, and you see him turn, and he says to the archpriest, he says, Plupaltine. What did Bloptodod see that made her give up the Sea Mother? And he sighs, and the archpriest says, She says she saw the Deep Father. She saw him like he stood in front of us.
I have a question. Your daughter is the thing between us and defeat of the other team. We kill her or no? You say.
I'm almost positive the answer to that is no, but now I'm because all these names look the same to me. Give me one second. No, it's not. Yeah. No, she's just a priest.
Ah, so some
There,
good in other side. So not kill all other side. Maybe violence not solution.
Klibdogul. He is archpriest of the Deep Father. Klibdogul. If he dies, then maybe the cults, maybe they realize and come back to see the mother.
I am part of religion where people do not believe my God is right God. I know I am right. I do not want to be killed because someone think my God is wrong. I don't want to kill others who have different God. Does not sound smart.
Dolphix, what do you think of all this?
Well, I would prefer not getting ourselves into a mess that we have no business in being in. But we do owe Shushnar a debt of gratitude, and I would certainly feel better leaving his home less chaotic than it is now.
It also sounds like this god demands sacrifice of humanoids. They're gonna get that from somewhere if they're left to their own devices.
Yes, although the implication there, if I'm understanding correctly, was worshippers of the Sea Mother normally sacrifice Kuatoa?
No. Sorry.
Oh.
Yeah, this.
No sacrifices.
It's not a sea mother does not
Okay, we're good. We're good.
need sacrifice.
I
Yeah,
misunderstood.
it's the Deep Father who currently seems to like recorded to sacrificing humanoids and other things, but humanoids are the prize. And using that to chum the water of the dark bank and to feed something.
All right, then I misunderstood. Yes. Well, that's a good point.
The Sea Mother probably has some questionable practices,
I'm sure.
but to everyone, this sounds a little more horrific.
Yes. Yeah. So, I don't know. This seems to be way above our heads, or at least above mine, and maybe Jace's.
You're much taller. I would put it back to Shushna. If you would see us help with this, I am inclined to do so.
Shushnar switches to Aquin. Then he or to Koatoan, and he back to the priest, and they have a little conversation. Then you see him turn back and say, "Let us go to Sloobludop. We will make our decision there. We can pass freely into the village. I will put you in my schoolmate's den, and we will decide there. You can get the rest that you need, that we all need. Does that sound agreeable to you?"
I'm just hungry. You bring me to food, I go.
I believe that is agreeable.
Oh, does sound good.
So you're all good with that?
Yeah, I hope,
Yep.
Jason, what were those fishy deep fried balls that you were talking about? I want some of those. Do you think they might have
Oh,
those here?
I don't know if they would have oil to fry, but if they do, we'll figure it out.
I hope so.
Me recall them taste like acid.
No, no, that was just the smell.
I'm pretty sure that was just acid.
Yeah, me no like that.
Well, on the plus side, Drazzle, you'll not have to worry about how anything tastes going forward.
You guys start to make the walk towards Sloobludop. And it's a pretty unusual place, like no doubt about it. You it's very dark. These guys don't need. They all have dark vision, so there's a few patches that occasionally you see, like the Pharisis. Occasionally you see some algae that glows, but in general, like it's pretty dark. Um, so it's pretty hard to describe the architecture of this place. Like the architecture is better described as if this thing was underwater, which it is not. So like sometimes like there's bridges between these, like all the structures don't look like they defy like gravity. They are not well built. In fact, as you're walking close to, like, you see a number that have collapsed at some point. Like it does not look like they are known for their architecture. There are bridges between like the second floor and the third of one building and the third floor of the next at like an impossible angle. Like it's just really alien architecture. Um, and the sounds you hear and the people talking are just completely like, you don't hear a lick of common. You don't hear really even any of the words of undercommon that you would understand. The I don't know if you can see, north is to the right of this map, just so you know, and you're actually on this long like isthmus. So there's water to the west and water to the east of you. You came in from the south, and the whole place is surrounded by walls, but the walls are made out of like heavy netting. And inside, as you walk through, there are openings into through the walls that are heavily guarded. As you walk through, you can see in the netting itself like hundreds of thousands of, they look like almost fish hooks embedded in. So it's almost like this weird version of barbed wire. That is what protects them from whatever creatures are lurking outside. As you walk through, the guards see they see Ploploplin, and they have no problem letting you in. And then, as promised, Shushnar takes you over to this area here, where you can see, and he says, "I will look for my friend. He's not here, but let us rest here." You're in this weird like the bed is just a pile of like small rocks. It's not really, there's no real walls. There's sort of a covering, I guess, but like occasionally other Coatoans just sort of walk through the place. But this is supposedly his den.
Corey, in a quick survey of the ground, do I find anything kind of interesting? I'm looking for little bones, little screws, pieces of wood, things that I might be able to start
I
work
mean,
craft with.
the houses, you could easily take the house apart, but in general, like it's like, yeah, like everything's there. Like it's not particularly dirty. Like in the weird, like
So it's not a slummy type scenario where there's a
it's
lot of
not
things laying around
it's not
because it's
slum, but it's not tidy either. Like
right.
it looks like what you'd see on the bottom of a pond where fish make their home, like where they're like, stack up little rocks or make a little dent in the floor, that sort of thing. Um, so yeah, and so it looks like really what happened is some of these rocks were under the water at some point, and fish sort of burrowed out dens in them, and now you're under one. So yeah, you might be able to find really like odds and ends, but nothing like it's not like there's trash.
He's just scavenging.
Um, Shushnar says, and so the archpriest laughed, like he sort of separated, and he says, you hear him talk to Shushnar, and Shushnar says to the group of you, he says, I told him tomorrow we'd come talk to him and discuss whether or not we agree to his deal. But for now, we have the day to perhaps find equipment, whatever equipment they might have here for you, and perhaps start talking about a way to Grecosto. But what do you need? Tell me.
I think we would benefit if we had at least one good coil of rope.
Rope is definitely a good tool. I think we all have bag now to carry. Some food we can take for travel.
Some sort of, yes, some rations or something.
Something to sleep on. Blanket.
You see him sort of like get like, you've known him a while, right? They are really alien creatures, so it's really hard to sort of read them, but you do know him, right? Like after like a month being around him, or maybe not a month, but okay. And you can see him start to panic when you talk about like food, and then he really panicked when you start to talk about dead stuff, and he's like, so we don't get many like you here. So some of your needs might be difficult to find. I'll do my best. Rope seems we use ropes for fishing. No problem in our boats. I can get you some spices, but perhaps that is not what will agree with you.
Really, some of your fishing equipment might come in incredibly handy.
Well, what do you fish for? Something edible, I assume.
Fish, of course. Sometimes octopus, sometimes, other creatures, but
Well, I wouldn't mind having some of that.
but carrying it with you might be different.
Oh.
We don't I'll just say, like we don't prepare it. We just eat it. But nonetheless, fishing gear, no problem. That is something we have in abundance.
Shushnar, I don't know that I've noticed any of your compatriots really wearing armor or anything like that, but you do some fishing, maybe you do some hunting. Do you think maybe scrounging up something to make kind of some thicker hide armor or something like that might be a possibility.
I can look. There's um, we do get travelers in here, and I don't know. I'll see if I can. Um, it is most likely that anything that was metal is now, a chimney, or I guess they don't have chimneys, is now a pot. So it would probably be the softer armors like the drow wear.
Perhaps a lantern.
A lantern, okay. Um, Lantern. This, I mean, like I said, you can see outside
Hmm.
easily. Like there's no, and so you see probably one of the more unusual things. You see one of the Koatoa walking, and he's talking, right? And you can. It's almost like he's maybe giving a speech.
Probably just got a Bluetooth in his ear.
Yeah. Well, no, no, no. What's weird about it is there's a group of Koatoa with him, who at first you think, oh, they're following him, listening to him, but they're actually like um, circumambulating around him as he talks. And he's just walking like, no, he's like meandering. But these group of maybe like 5 or 6 of them are just sort of like all around him, like
They're schooling.
they're what?
They're schooling. Like fish.
Sareth is like, they're like, don't pay attention to them. It's just a stupid race.
But fish do the same thing.
What? Why are they stupid? Not follow you, God?
They're stupid because they act like fish.
You not fish?
This is the drow.
This
I
is
think.
Sareth talking, not Shushan.
Oh,
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, this is Sareth.
That changes everything.
Well, you have a fish face.
Shushar, though, probably would say, like, I am not a fish.
so he's like Vardaman.
Shushnar, what is that one talking about? Seems like he's got a little following there. What's he talking about?
And you see Shushnar sort of like wanders out of the window, and so he's like closer to him, and he's coming back, and he says, he's seems to be one of the followers of this deep father, talking to them about the power of the deep father. He called the deep father. There was a name which I'd not heard yet. Limugugu. Apparently, that is the deep father's name.
Kajagugu? What was his name?
Limugugu.
Namogugu.
Stupid name.
Well, Shushnar, we need to talk at some point about this situation because we're going to have to give Plupopline a answer in the morning.
Yes. Are you really relying on me to make the decision of what you do?
Well,
We'd like your input.
yeah, exactly. You're the one. We came here with you, and I can tell you're distressed about the situation, but understand, want to be respectful of your newfound beliefs that you've developed. But I gotta ask you, if this deep father and their followers, if they're not answered to, they're just gonna keep killing. And I understand you've got this whole thing about nonviolence, but if cutting out this corruption, as Plupopline says, saves lives, or could save lives, isn't that worth it?
It could prevent further violence.
I cannot be the one who advises you to use violence.
Would you
I will
see-
not do that. I understand.
Methods notwithstanding, would you see the removal of this Deep Father as a benefit to your people?
I do not. I do not know. You. I am new to the situation, much like you. Um, perhaps it is best. Perhaps we. Would you like to see the village?
Sure.
Perhaps we both, all together, we start to learn more about what is going on here.
And may I ask one question? You, Faith, you sometimes kill your own people.
Well, not you.
No, you Faith, the mother, she kill own people sometimes, but they want to be killed. Willing die.
Wait, what?
The sacrifice is willing sacrifice other fish people.
Where do you get that idea?
I understand new God, he want to kill human people. Old God only kill you people?
I think
Or
that
no
we
kill.
lost that in translation. I don't think they kill each other.
So
Typically.
then
Well,
Yeah,
any more than
the Deep
anyone
Mother
does.
probably has some weird stuff, but sacrifice is not high on the list.
so she not sacrificed, then she better for your plan of nobody sacrifice, no kill nobody. So she is best for you.
Peace in this village is best for me, and
Okay.
I am just but a small piece in this story.
We kill anyone who not Earth Mother.
No, that's not what I said.
Not you say, me say. I listen. I hear. Between claws, I read the words.
Why are you so? Why do we go to the sword so quickly? Why do we not talk to this Deep Father and his people?
Talk to
Okay.
the surprise round. But okay.
Shushnar, does the Kuatua, your people, do they have where I come from? Sometimes somebody does something wrong, we maybe make a big showing of it, maybe put them in the middle of town and let people judge them. Is this a system that you have down here?
No. If someone does something wrong, maybe I don't know. If they someone might kill them. People get very angry very quickly here. But I think if you know you did wrong, then often you sail the dark lake and you wait for inspiration about how to fix that.
Okay. So this priest worships the Deep Father. What do you think about that? Maybe we can subdue them and take them and send him off into the Dark Lake and let everyone know that he's a bad person and needs to go out there on the lake and think about all the terrible things he's done. Then maybe he comes back, he's reformed, who knows? Is that a better
Perhaps.
solution?
It is better than currently the sacrifices and violence going on.
Okay. Maybe we can get Plooplepleen to agree to some kind of middle road like that.
Tell me, you are my guests here. What do you want to do now? Before
Well, I don't know. That tour kind of sounded interesting to me. I'd like to see more of your home here.
No
you think
food
it-
here. We go
If you
walk.
think it will be safe, you did think that we may not be safe here, but it seems as though that may not be true.
I worry about you if you were out alone, without me or without Sloobludop. But I think We should be safe, as long as we stay together, or you stay here inside.
Well, let's have a tour.
So I'm gonna see. I'm gonna just globally illuminate this thing instead of dragging your character. There will come a time when you get dragged around, but for now, I think we're fine. Boop. All right. So yeah, these. I mean, it's. There's not much differentiation in that in the village. The first thing Shushnar would show you is he'd point out the docks, and he'd bring you up to the west side of town, and he says the keel boats here, they are our best bet to move across the lake towards Grecklestoke. We have many pilots who we could hire to take you across the lake. It is many days, but still it is a better option than going by land. My people know this lake very well. While you're there, you see there are quite a few of the Koatoa, and then in sort of guard rows around the lake. And as you're walking around, you see it after like a good hour, you can start to pick out who amongst the guards worships the Dark Deep Father and who is still loyal to the Sea Mother. And as these groups of guards sort of come past each other, you can see there's antagonism between the two groups. You don't see direct violence at this moment, but you can feel sort of the tension in the air as these two groups are colliding. He brings you down, and please stop me if you have questions at any time. This is just sort of a meander walk. Brings you down here, and I think Dolphix, as you're walking through, a Koatoa walks straight up to you and is sort of walking pretty quickly straight at you. You do anything?
I kind of just stop.
Okay.
And see if they walk by me or they walk up to me.
Walks straight into you and just knocks you over.
Oof. Well, I say, watch where you're going. I guess I kind of just look up. Is this Kuto like paying attention or?
Not at all. In fact, they just keep walking.
Okay. Is that one of them, Deep Father fellows?
Oh, and who are you asking, Shushnar, or are you trying?
Just anyone, if they were listening. Anyone around.
You didn't see any. No one saw any specific insignia.
Okay, interesting. I just dust myself off and join the rest of the group.
You okay, Dolphix?
Yes, just taken a little off guard there.
It was. I mean, it's. Yeah, it was just completely strange. Like you weren't there at all, really.
Shushnar, that's like some kind of Koatoa like greeting, right? Like that's like a high five or.
Oh. Sorry. No, he was probably just sleeping. We have to wander even when sleeping. Don't wake up. It can be very, very problematic if you wake up.
Just sleepwalking?
Yeah. It's hard. We don't have those things that you have to tell us when we're sleeping.
Brains.
Don't think that's what it is.
It's that your surface world humor is very close to what we would call offensive here.
Close but no cigar. Yes.
I think that was close to what we might call offensive on the surface as well.
Vic is like grinning, and he just gives a little wink to Drazzle. Yeah.
I think I
by
get
now,
you language now.
those of you with dark vision can start to see this thing here, and it's a statue in the distance. And Shushnar is sort of headed towards it. As you guys get closer to it, you can see it's a 9-foot tall statue. Its body roughly carved. It's not craftsmanship in any way, shape, or form. Roughly carved from some kind of wood in the shape of what appears to be a humanoid female, but it's clear that they have never seen a humanoid female up close, and whoever the artist was had it described to him at some point.
It's definitely not a Koatoan body.
It is not a Koatoan body. So that's where the wood ends. However, its head and forearms are formed from the severed head and the severed claw of what appears to be what was once an albino crawfish, a giant albino crawfish. So female body, but on the head is the head of the crawfish, and then both of her hands have been replaced.
Well, that don't make no sense.
As you get closer, absolutely horrific smell. I mean, like, this is just layer upon this whole experience, layer upon layer of horrible smells, and this is like takes the cake. As you get, and it's just rotting shellfish, like it's just fish. It's nasty. It's like New Jersey beach. So I can say that I'm from New Jersey. At the base of it, you see like some shells, some brightly colored stones, even some mushrooms have been picked and left, and lots of rotting fish at the feet of the statue. And also some of that has been made into like necklaces that are adorning the neck.
This looks like tribute. This isn't just like the trash pile. This looks like it was done in a deliberate and intentional style.
Yeah. And Shushnar is like, this is the sea mother.
Oh, Shushnar, I think I'm getting it. I understand why all your people are going to the Steep Father, because your goddess is stinking.
Shushnar
Do
looks at you without blinking.
Shushnar, do you eat the fish tribute to show respect to God?
No.
No.
And you see now as you get, crowd is probably not the right word, but there's maybe like 10 people in this general area around this thing. 4 seem to be guards. They are slowly like circling around the statue. But you see others come up and standing, sort of seem to be praying to this. Occasionally one will run up and like we'll put it logistically, this is probably the reason you haven't seen like fish bones lying around, because they all just get dropped off here. Like, so after you're done with dinner, you throw the scraps here. And Shushnar says, this is the Sea Mother. She is who protects Sloobludop. And he points over to place down here. One of these that a little bit, it's like 3-story house that looks like it's about to collapse. He says that's where the archpriest lives. We'll see him tomorrow.
We see priest tomorrow.
Unless you want to see him today, we agreed to see him tomorrow.
Will we see him here, or he come to us?
I promised we would come to his house here. He says, I don't mean to be rude, but amongst my people it is very common to make a small offering to our goddess.
Oh, well, anyone have any fish bones?
I probably have a couple knoll bones, like finger bones or toe bones left over I could drop off.
If you,
We were hoping to eat. Perhaps afterwards we might have something fitting.
those of you who are trained in religion, will you make me a quick religion check? So I know that's Draza. I don't know if it's anyone else.
What about those of us with half proficiency, does that count?
Nah. So Shushanar looks at you, Jason, and is like, don't you have I mean anything at all? And he you see him he goes to the statue and he drops off, like, maybe he had, like, I'm trying to think what he would have. He had a mushroom that he'd been carrying from the journey, and he leaves it at the base of the statue.
I guess I could do something similar if we have something. I haven't been tracking that, but
Yeah, you guys definitely have some food left over. Like, you have food. Really, it's clear based on the things that are around. It could really be anything. It's not looking like things of value are particularly important.
well, I suppose a bit of mushroom, or I guess I have a little bit of the wood substitute mushroom
Okay.
that I could put in the pile.
Okay. Anyone else?
I'm gonna take one of the strings off of my dulcimer
Okay.
from earlier when the other Koatoa was fascinated with it, and unstring that and kind of lay that down at the base of the statue.
Okay.
I'll just one of my arrows. What?
I simply bend down and take a knee and cast a light spell upon a pile of the most rotting of the fish guts and illuminate it.
Okay. One of the Koatoa who was guarding, he comes over and he starts yelling at you in Koatoan, Drazel.
You're welcome.
Shushanar comes up and says, this is Glugugug. This is the archpriest's son. He wonders what you're doing.
I am honoring your god with the best tribute from my own god. The power of the light, the power of the sun.
And you see him. So
The highest honor I may give.
you see him try to translate that to Glukagug is really very, very suspicious. And Shushanar turns to you and he says, the tensions between the Dark Father and the Sea Mother, they are bad, my friend. He does not know what you just did, and he's
It
suspicious.
is good.
Would the
My
light
words
not,
say good.
would the light not be antithetical to the Dark Father?
I don't know. And he asks, and make I'm not sure. Jason, make me a persuasion check real quick.
Can I aid him by looking sympathetic?
No, you caused the problem. So what you see is Shushnar tries to explain that, like being like, "Hey, like, isn't this possible?" And the guard sort of looks at both of you, Chesa and Drazzle, suspiciously, and you see him. He steps off, but he has his eye on both of you. And Shushnar says, "Let us. I think it's best now that we move on."
Okay.
As Drazzle, as you are getting up from kneeling, you see a Koatoan walk up and just vomit all over what you just lit up. Just, and you see all these fish guts and bones and all this stuff just sort of fly out.
Does it cover up my light?
At least partially. I don't know if it like drowns it, but
I suspend my next turn action to cast light again on top of the new pile as I rise up.
is anyone going to stop him?
I'm probably like a sympathetic vomiter, and I'm just like, oh god, I'm just like.
Drazzle, I don't suggest that. They're already concerned with our actions and our presence.
Shushnar puts his hand on your shoulder, Drazzle, and says, "It's that's no offense to you. That is the highest compliment you can give the sea mother.
To put this light on it, or to vomit.
To share your food with her."
I let you do what you do.
Hearing that, I'm just gonna run up to the statue, just let it out. But oh god, oh god.
You see the guard who yelled at the two of them. He's like, thumbs up.
Yeah.
Shushnar sort of says, "Let us go then." And you guys, Shushnar, you can tell, has his eyes on whatever this is here.
Mm-hmm.
But he's not walking in that direction.
And nothing's lit, right?
Nothing's really lit. Yeah.
Okay, so I can't see over there anyway.
Yeah, but you definitely see him like.
He's looking in that direction.
Yeah, like. And so he does take you over here in this area, where you see that there's a almost like an inlet in a canal into the area. There's more of those keel boats. And yeah, he is able to get you easily. Let's see, you guys said rope, no problem. So you guys can put down that you have the equivalent of two 50-foot coils of rope. You can all have fishing gear if you want. And then he he's going to have to look around for the armor. It's not obvious where he'd get that, but he says, I can do that when you sleep.
And a lantern, if you can find one.
Oh, right, lantern. That's what this word was, actually. I thought it said leather. And then I just stopped writing after a certain point. Anything else you guys would like to do? It's late day, but like so.
If we can find some food and perhaps would it be frowned upon for us to cook it?
Some cook it here, but no, it would not be frowned upon.
So if we could get some fish, maybe we could have a meal without having to forage for mushrooms.
I'll let me get you back to the den, and I will go and get some fish, something appropriate. And so he leads you back, unless someone's gonna try to do something else. Leads you back to where your tokens are, basically. It says, you'll just stay here and try to not make yourself visible, conspicuous. And he heads off. Is there anything you guys want to do, or I'll advance it towards the next day?
I'm going to create some water for us because I don't know that we actually made that happen, and it's an easy enough thing for me to do out of habit.
So yeah, we'll talk about this, Scott. Basically, I'm going to say from now on, I'm going to assume without spell slots, without anything, you can find food and water, unless for some reason I call for it on a specific day. But we're not going to go through the daily thing anymore. So don't worry about wasting anything.
Then I'm just going to run that off. Instead of creating water as we have been doing it, I'm just going to tell everyone, who want sun shower? Me make shower, you wash, clean, start day fresh. Me? Who else? Because I can make 10 gallons of water fall in a 30-foot cube like rain. So, quick sun shower.
You asking if we want a golden shower?
I wouldn't mind freshening up, I suppose.
Nor I. It has been quite a while.
So I decided, this might be a nice moment for us to clean the scum off of our bodies and take a moment.
All right.
So if I need to do it more than once, I'll do it up to the 3 spell slots I have for the day to make sure we all get wet. Then we can wash. Then we can rinse and rinse.
Okay.
Great.
Anything else?
I'm going to spend the rest of my free time reading my spell book.
Okay.
One page of it.
That one particular page. So close.
So why don't we do this quick? Why don't we just take a quick 5-minute break? And we will be back in just a second, and we will proceed to the next day. And what plans you guys have in store for the Dark Father and the Sea Mother?
Okay.
So we'll be back in just a minute. Thanks, guys. We appreciate all the viewers. We are very excited that we are your alternative to presidential debates. It means a lot to us.
Whoa, thanks for the jams, man!
So when you guys can take a long rest, and so you should be refreshed. You should smell slightly better than the rest of town, thanks to Drazel's sun showers. And and you had fish. You maybe weren't able to do a lot with it's hard to find enough wood and that's dry, but you were able to get some heat into it. And it is the next morning. Shushnar, you wake up and Shushnar is just sort of staring at you because he has no eyelids. So, what What? I mean, he has very few facial expressions.
Right. I initially heard that as Schussnar's had his eyelids cut off by some sort of serial killer in the night.
But, so Shushnar says, do you want to go to the arch priest's house?
Yeah. I don't think we have answer for him, but we should go talk him.
Agree.
So you head over there.
I'll take along some of the fish bones.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, he lives basically because he's the caretaker of the shrine. He lives adjacent to it, so he's.
As we go by, I will deposit them.
I think you probably noticed now that you're there for a second time. Here. No, sorry, you don't have anything. There's nothing here. So you head into it's a hovel. It's not. It's like most everything else in town. You go in and there's 4 Koatoa just sort of hanging around, and I think by now Sareth and Eldith have started a game where they try to guess if one of them is asleep or not, and so they're sort of giggling in the corner, trying to figure out, like, of the 4 who in the room you enter, and one of them sort of sees you coming and says, "Oh, the Plopline is he's just upstairs. He's waiting for you." And as you go upstairs, head up, Shushnar says, "You should know his son, who you met yesterday, is not excited about involving outsiders in his plan." And you get up, and you it's a pretty warm welcome from Plopline when you. My friends, have you made a decision?
Well, we've been talking here with Shushnar. We want to help. Let's just get that out of the way. We do want to help.
You'll help me kill him.
Well, that's where
Kill
our
is
help...
strong word.
Yeah.
We were hoping perhaps we could find another way.
What way do you?
Shushnar says that when one of your people is shamed, they're sent out on the lake. We were wondering if there would be a way to arrange that. That we
traveling the Dark Lake is something that is a personal choice. It's not something that is done like a punishment.
But it's
understood.
Is dangerous.
It can be.
If you feel shame, you go out there to remove shame. Yes?
This shame word is not. I'm not. I get the sense of it, but the journey on the Deep Lake is more, or the Dark Lake is more, a journey of growth.
Vic, you understand shame. You feel shame from family. They shame of you. So you explain shame.
I understand shame. I don't understand it in the context that you just presumed. But so Plooplane, what I think Drazel is getting at here is we can get this high priestess into. We can convince him, right? maybe against his will, that he has to go and take this little boat ride out into the lake. He comes back reformed. That's going to bring a whole bunch of glory to your goddess. He's a convert rather than just an enemy felled. He actually sees the light, so to speak.
And
Comes to
how
see
would
your
you
way.
propose to have this conversation with him? Even I cannot just walk up to him. I plan to bring you as a token of peace and reconciliation between the Dark Father and the Sea Mother.
I think that that's still a good plan. We could use that. We could use that, but it's the element of killing him that I think is maybe the one that we could kind of scratch that out and insert a new plan here. We take him alive, you see. We force him to reconcile his ways in following this deep father, and we give him a choice. Either he goes out onto the lake and goes on this journey that many of your people have done so in the past, or we let his fate leave his fate in his own hands. Your way.
And you are mighty warriors that can do this.
Vic, in your proposal, is the alternative death? Are you proposing that we give him the option to take a pilgrimage out on the water, or we will kill him?
I think so. Then it isn't us making that choice for him. I don't know if that'll appease Shushnar or not, but at least we try.
Why do these people fishies go on the water? Why do they want to go on water?
Why does anyone want to?
Is there risk? Is danger?
What do you know of how he came to follow the Dark Father? Was that a vision granted on the water? Because if we're sending him back out there, we may only strengthen his resolve.
I do not know. I know my daughter, she was not on the water when she received her vision. The vision, and I would not put too much faith in just a story of a vision, but I have seen her powers grow stronger since she received the vision.
Wait, new info. Your daughter have power.
Yes.
To do what?
Or God gives her power.
To do
the extent of it.
Look, I make light. What's she do?
Yes. Even more. I do not know her powers. She did not have powers when she lived in this house.
Okay. So we need to, big picture. We have two sides, one side on top, other side go down. To bring side down, what do we need to do? Make look weak? Make look like no can swim? What will make other side look no good to you people?
What I know, we cut off the head. Like any creature that is a problem.
Yeah, sometime cut off head, new head come back. How we make all heads look bad.
I am unaware of a creature where such happens.
I lost my tail once. It grew back.
Is your head inside your tail?
Oh, well, there are stories.
You people from the up place are very unusual.
It's easy to tell someone else kill. when you no kill.
I will be there too.
You tourist.
I believe in the initial proposal, we were to be the offering to allow him to get close to do the killing.
It's true. You kill.
Don't know if I can kill him, but I will wound him. We will use this as a. We will put you in manacles, but they will not be locked. And when it comes time, you will disrupt the ritual, and I will use that opportunity to do what I can.
If we help with this, would you use that moment instead of to try to kill him to give him a choice?
I do not believe he will respond to anything but violence.
Okay. If we no do this,
I do not know, but I don't think disrupting the ritual and then saying let's talk is good fun.
If we no do this, he do same to you. Yes.
He will wipe us out. Yes.
Shusnar like you. We no do this, you die. Shusnar unhappy.
Did you just ask Shusnar a question? I'm sorry, I didn't.
No.
Okay.
I'd say we go. Follow man. Help him get close. See what happened next. You never know when sun have cloud go in front. And sometimes sun just shine.
Plupleen, would you give us a moment? Maybe we can kind of discuss this amongst ourselves to see where we're at with things.
Of course. And he sort of points over to a room off to the side, and he says, "You can use that as you will." And as if you go in, it's clear this is his like private chambers here. You see like a small sort of gravel pit where he clearly like rests the chest off to the side, and
so I'll definitely Vic will head there and presumably with the others, and
Yep.
Vic will say
he's not trying to like spy on you at all. He's still up there, but
Yeah.
he's not. He's giving you your space.
Vic will say, I really don't know how things work down here in Koatoa society, but I worry about what might happen if he goes in there and kills this priest. You know, that's going to create a division that'll be here in this community for a long time, presumably. That could be a bigger issue long term.
You buying house? We don't live here.
No,
we just need to make
but
this place safe so we can get need and then get out.
Well,
as I see it, we have two options. One is that we go along with this and we let him enact his plan. Two is that we leave. And we make our way toward Grackelstow over land. I think if we want a boat, we need to do this favor, and then we'll have a better chance of having someone who will take us by boat across the water. But to do that, I think we need to follow through.
Yes. I think we know who tried to kill us or take us before. They are bad guys. They enemy. The enemy of our friend. So
If it really is bothering you, Vic, I suppose that when we do inevitably enter into combat, we just ensure that one of the 4 or 5 of us, is, if Sam is willing, be the one to strike the final blow in a way that would not render the enemy priest dead.
And then we take him with us?
No, if there's some way that they can deal with this priest alive, perhaps a punishment or.
It doesn't sound that they do that.
Dolphix, I agree with that. That I say we go in there. That's going to be that's what I'm going to try to do. I want to try to take him alive, make sure that his daughter doesn't die in this whole thing. You know, they're being misled by something. Maybe it's just a belief. Maybe there's something else going on here. It's hard to say, but you know, Shushar, you know, say what you will about him and his beliefs, but he's been through this whole ordeal with us, and it's really important to him to see his people come together.
Vic, I think is time we flip coin. And I think coin has two sides. No side show we support bad side. We know the father is all bad. So both sides of this coin is help mother. How we help mother? We kill bad.
I think we can agree to take him non-lethally. It's what happens after that I think we're divided on.
I think I learned a new word, self-determination. Not us. They decide.
That is quite prescient of you. I agree with Drazel's word of the day. Self-determination.
I agree to an extent. I want to do everything we can to set that up to make sure that we help them to make the right decision for themselves.
Because you know best. It's true.
Well, I think we go along with the ritual and we disrupt it as the priest has proposed, and we try to take as many of them non-lethally as we can.
Yes.
Excellent.
And then we let them do what they do after that. But we won't indiscriminately take lives. Is that agreed?
Yes.
Agreed. Take us as our prisoners.
All right, so you wander out, and it's the full group of you. Shushnar was not in the room with you, so if you'd like to have a quick talk with him, you can. But the Stool and Eldeth and Sareth are there, and Sloobludop says. Then you agree to our plan.
I believe we do.
We will. I will summon a messenger to deliver the news to those within the camp of the Dark Father, Deep Father. Very well. I don't know at what speed this will happen, but if there's anything you wish to do, you should do it now to prepare. And you see him wander down to talk to one of the people who are down below. Are you guys doing anything?
We should clarify, as we're bound, what will happen with our equipment.
No, it doesn't seem he would. I mean, just in off, nothing will happen to your equipment.
We'll just have it.
So when we break free of our fake bonds, I'll be able to grab a weapon.
You'll have everything. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I mean, that's the plan.
Because the only thing I would think to do is try to hide a weapon on me, but if I don't need to worry about that, then...
Okay. No major armor, nothing like that? Anyone?
No.
Okay. So he comes back up and says, I thank you for this, but the Sea Mother will reward you greatly for your effort. It's maybe about maybe a little under an hour. Oh, sorry, I should say. Shushnar, he basically leaves. Like, he's not excited about this. He's not going to play part in it. So you see at a certain point, Shushnar say basically like, he has a little bit of a heated exchange with Sloobludop, but in general, he doesn't really even say anything to you guys, and he leaves.
As he's leaving, I will telepathically tell him that we're going, but we're not going to kill them.
He looks back at you. He doesn't say anything, and he heads out. So within the hour, you see and you hear approaching the archpriest's quarters. You see a group of about 12, 13 Koatoa walk up, all wearing some of the insignia that you've now come to recognize as definitely the Dark Father. And, sorry, the Deep Father. And so you hear a conversation between the Sloobludop and one of the person who seems to be the head of that group. And he comes back and he says, they have agreed that I will accompany you to meet the Archpriest of the Deep Father. They will be nearby, but they are not taking you themselves. So we go now. And so the group of you start to get a map in order. The group of you now, let me just go grab, just in case they are needed. Grab the other Sarah. Copy you guys. Here's the dope. Sorry, just got some tokens on here. All right. So, the group of you, Glog. Sorry, where's sorry, I'm just. I wanted. All right. You see you guys. So the group of you guys head up to this area nearer to the water. And you now see something fairly horrific, even compared to things that else you would see. So the idol to the Deep Father consists of a large hide cut roughly in the shape of a manta ray and stretched out on cords between two support poles. A dead, splayed out manta ray is pinned to the center of the hide. On top of that, two dead octopuses are draped across, their tentacles pinned and artfully arrayed, their heads tied together and painted with red and blue pigments. The idol reeks of decay, and the broadstone altar below the idol is drained with blood. In case that was too many big words. What's this?
Ah, that's something I can visualize.
Yeah. I hope so. I hope you are not blind. and you see 6 Koatoa around the altar. They're cleaning up and arranging altar. You see what appears to be the most sort of reverend or the most senior, standing in front of the altar with 2 Koatoa on his side. You also see a woman off to the side, clearly like staring eyes or staring holes into her father, and you definitely are guessing right that the woman is the daughter of Sloobludop.
Is it easy to see gender amongst these creatures?
Yeah, I mean, more or less. There's not too many designations, but yeah, you can.
Okay.
Sorry, let me just find where she is.
I was worried there that we would not be able to recognize her amongst a crowd of other
Oh, she
fish
was
heads.
with you. Sorry, I grabbed the one. That's her there, and then there's there's her. And so you also see the archpriest of the Sea Mother steps forward across the span of the altar towards the Koatoa waiting for him there. And is there anyone around to translate for you? There is not. So you hear a lot of gibberish back and forth. He gestures, the archpriest gestures towards you guys, and standing with and he has a circle of guards behind him. The archpriest of the Deep Father responds in gibberish again. None of you understand it, and you hear the entire everyone surrounding, like all the general worshipers. You hear a cheer as everyone seemed very, very excited about whatever was just said. And you see dragged out. Where are you? You see dragged out a bruised and completely beraggled Deragar, one of the deep dwarves. And he is being tied up to the altar. It's clear that a sacrifice is about to happen. You all hear, sorry. You all hear in the background guards moving up behind you guys. And it's clear that you are also going to be part of this sacrifice.
How far is the priest from us?
He is here at this point. He's let me order things a little bit better for you guys.
The Sea Mother priest.
Oh, Sea Mother. He's up next to. At this point, he's not right next to you. He's up next to. So this is Sea Mother priest. This is that other archpriest. Were you able to see that or no?
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's close enough. I'm going to telepathically tell him to give us a signal.
Oh, okay. Let me just make sure of this order. He can he respond? I don't remember.
Not telepathically.
Okay. You see him nod at you. And so one by one, as the ritual starts, you each get pushed up by a Koatoa behind you, who, with their spear, is sort of prodding you. And you're being prodded into this depression where you can see as you get closer to it. It is just drenched with dried blood. I'm missing one. You. What am I doing? And it's clear that this is where the sacrifices are made. Oh my goodness. Puzzle, I forgot you.
So when Drowser got to hang out in the rear and be safe.
Is there a reason we brought Stool along with us?
He's the prime sacrifice.
Oh, okay.
Humanoid mushroom.
We made it
No,
back.
just remember, Stool, you could use spores.
That's true. We could.
Just to throw that. Okay.
I mean, we would have to retcon that we did it before these other.
I mean, you
folks
could
were around.
you could ask him to do it at a certain point, and he can go run and do it. Like just it might
Well,
not
doesn't
all of
it
you, but-
doesn't it affect everyone that's within a certain radius of him?
Right, it does. But if you can figure out how to make that work, I mean, yeah, I'm not going to run. Whatever. And if you guys truly did not intend for him to be there, I can leave him out.
I mean,
I don't think we would bring him.
I think
Yeah.
I would have advocated to leave him behind.
that I might have advocated that he go with Shushnar.
Yeah. No matter what benefit he could provide us, I think we would have pushed for him not to be included simply because he's not humanoid and he's soft.
That's fine. Do you want him to be with Shushnar, or do you want him to be back in Shushnar's friend's den?
Yeah, Shushnar's friend's den sounds safer.
I'm down with that.
Okay, so he's back here. All right. So the Koatoa parade around the altar in a wide circle as they start to chant, and you see them. They're actually this area. I don't want to give the hint that this area is all above. The water sort of stretches up. It's not deep, but there's water here. And they're splashing around as they sort of circumambulate the lake or the altar.
What are these things?
Those are just
Assuming those
rock
were the boats.
formations.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah. And so you very, very quickly, you are losing track of who is who. The two people you guys can absolutely see are, and you know who are, I'm going to put dots on them, are, oops, sorry, now I can't even him, who I just moved up, and I'm going to move back. A big bright dot in him.
Mhm.
And then, so, the two, he is the archpriest of the Sea Mother. I put a blue dot in instead. And then the yellow dot was his like bodyguard. Came.
And which one
Okay.
was the daughter?
Daughter's a
Okay.
and she yells something out, and her yelling out is what prompted you guys to be forced up into this area. As you get into the depression, you see that the stonework, like I said, is completely drenched with blood. And you can actually, like at the bottom of the depression is actually a grate, and you can hear like it's almost like a sewer. Like you can hear the lapping of the water below, and you assume that like the sacrifices go into that, like they cut them up and chop them in, and that's how they chomp.
Beautiful.
As you guys approach, you just hear the chanting getting louder and louder, and it really is like you have no clue who around you came with you from the no clue whatsoever. You have no ability to detect
All
who's
just blending in.
yeah. The only ones, like, you definitely know that him right here, and I'm going to move him towards the altar because he'd be next to the altar. He is the high priest for the Dark Father. Here's the archpriestess for the Dark Father, and then the two with dots are the two you came with. You see her move up to take her place, the daughter, move up to take her place, and I would say names, but I feel like you guys
Yeah, let's avoid
become
that.
faster confused I am if I use name. So she moves up to deal with Hammond, who is the Durgar, whose name you don't know, the Durgar. She moves up and she points towards the altar. And right at that very second, you see the priest, the archpriest of the Sea Mother, jam his scimitar into her. So I need all of you to roll initiative.
The
That
archpriest
seems
of
like
the
the
Sea Mother
sign.
jammed it into the daughter?
Into his daughter.
Into his own daughter.
Huh.
What a twist.
That was your signal.
It was undeniable.
I'm going to move you guys out of the way for a minute just so I can roll very quickly everyone else.
Vic, I'm glad you get to go first, hopefully. Set the scene for what's happening.
Does he? Oh, Vic does go first. Okay, so I'm going to put you back in here. Okay, so he lashes out and he hits. Oh God, this is such a nightmare. Hits.
I feel like I may be dead before my turn ever comes up. Me and Sarth.
He hits her for 17, and you see it.
Definitely dead before I get my turn.
You see her jolt as lightning just passes through her body. Vic, what are you doing?
I'm going to be kind of shocked at that, but there's nothing I can do about that in the short term here. She's still alive, though?
Oh, yeah, she's still alive.
Okay.
Pretty pissed.
Well, my immediate thing is I'm going to cast Fairy Fire. How can I draw this? Okay. I think it's what? A 20-foot cube, right?
Yep.
Do you want me to give you one?
Does that make sense? Like right here, can you see that?
Yep, perfect.
Okay.
All right.
So let's see. Cast.
That does have our two allies in it.
Oh.
Do you want to move it up? which case, except
Yeah. Move it. Sorry, move it one square up.
Okay. So it's still going to hit the Duragar, who was also going to be a sacrifice, who we know nothing about.
Yeah, I think I'm fine with that.
And therefore has no value to us.
What its dexterity?
Oh, sorry, I clicked this, but I don't know if it really.
No, just what?
It should be another button for it that'll throw the save up there. But it is a dexterity saving
That work?
throw.
No.
Just PC at this point.
My save DC is 13.
Okay. So all of these guys, I'm going to put. Sorry to keep using colors. It's going to be red. They are going to have Fairy Fire on them. Hemeth. Fairy Fired. He passes. So the priest. The daughter gets hit with Fairy Fire. And then I think that's okay. Fine.
My bonus action will be to give Dolphix Bardic Inspiration. I'll just say, Dolphix, stick to the plan. Do the right thing. Let's keep as many of these guys alive as we can.
All right. Plop, he needs to go through his daughter to get to the high priest, so he's going to do that. He makes 2 attack. What's his spells? He has 10 spells. Okay. He's going to make 2 attacks with his scepter. And both hit. Wait. Did I do this right? Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah. Both hit. I'll get faster at this in a second. He does. Shit. He does 22 plus 30 plus 45. He does 59 points of damage to his daughter.
Wow.
He's still up.
He did 59 points of damage to the daughter.
Yep.
She's still up.
Yep.
This is the daughter, not his daughter. This is the other priest.
This is his daughter.
He is attacking his daughter.
Glad he's on our side.
So death is the cure for this ailment, is what I'm learning.
Or that's what this priest believes.
Yeah.
So Plop, yep, and then he's gonna cast. I'm just gonna use a random. I'm gonna use stool just because I don't have a token handy. He casts spiritual weapon, and next to the high priest. And he goes for the high priest. So that's just going to be a d20. Hits. And spiritual weapons, what? 2d8?
1d8. We're
He's
on
one.
level, right?
All right, so he just does 1 point of damage. So.
See, he rolled a 1. He's holding back. There's a little sentimentality there.
For the priest, not for the daughter.
No.
Eldith.
Daughter's got to learn a lesson.
Eldith lashes out at the Koatoa who's in front of her. She's normally good for some hits. 2 short sword attacks. I think she hits them both. Yep. Oh no, she doesn't hit with. Oh, she does. What's going on here? There's one in front of her. It is not on the right layer. Yep, both hit. This one is heavily wounded. The one to the north of her. You see Koatoa running over here. This one, and attacking this Koatoa over here. You see the high priest. Oh, he starts to shout out, and you. What's he going to do? Wow. Can I move you? Yep. You see him move here, and he's going for. Actually, he's going for the high priest. The two high priests are now fighting, and so he. Oh, I hate this so much. He tries to bite him first, misses. Pincher staff also misses. The Duragar is trying to get out of his manacles. There, he fails. You see one of these Koatoa come over and attack the Koatoa next to him. You see this Koatoa, sorry, if you can see where I am, this Koatoa attacked the bodyguard of the high priest of the Sea Mother. 2 attacks, 1 bite. Oops, yeah, close enough. 1 hits, bite, 7, or 5 piercing.
Is Shushnar with us?
No.
No.
Good. So he's not having to see all this.
Nope.
We can give him a different version later.
Not unless he's spying from somewhere else.
These 2 are fighting back and forth. He flies out, does damage to the guy to the north, but sorry, I'm just trying to summarize this.
There's a whole bunch of Koatoa fighting each other, and we don't know who's on our side.
This one is going towards Eldeth. So Eldeth is about to take a spear. She gets hit. Eldeth takes 5 piercing.
I feel like the imagery is like a net full of fish that just got tossed into a boat, and just everything's just.
Right. Yeah. Like it's really hard. Like before, even when they were just marching around, it was hard to tell who was who. Now it's really nearly impossible. Dilfix, it is your turn.
Okay.
You know. Good.
Can you remind me where the high priest of the Deep Father is?
Of the Deep Father.
He's the one that has the yellowish background.
Okay. Way.
So he looks just like he's right here.
Mm-hmm.
He's actually 2 to the north of you. Oh no, you're right. Absolutely, you're right. It's the only one without a red dot in the square. Yeah.
Nice.
He's got different colored background than all the other Koatoa.
Okay. I want to do this.
And this is the dog to his west.
Okay. Then I'm gonna move up and then attack the daughter.
Okay.
But 9v3, of course. And
Absolutely hits.
all right.
Okay. She's still up. She is frothing at the mouth.
Okay, I'm gonna action surge and attack again.
Okay.
22.
Hit.
12 points.
She is out.
Okay. Non-lethally, of course.
Yep, that's what you said.
Okay. And
No.
I will.
So the daughter is down.
The daughter is down. Between the two, she just took like 2 crits and like 4 other hits, and she's down.
All right, good work.
Okay. And that's my turn, I guess.
You see the priest weeping, the priest of the Sea Mother about what just happened. But all right, see some Koatoa fighting each other. Blah blah
I'm
blah.
dead.
She's out. Jason.
I'm going to cunning action disengage.
Okay.
And I'm going to move to here, and I'm going to attempt to unlock the Durgar.
All right. Give me a sleight of hand check against.
Is it just thieves' tools?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I built a custom skill for it.
Yep. Perfect. He is out. He thanks. He's like, I don't know who you are, but thank you.
And then I will, as an item manipulation, I will give him a dagger.
Okay. He thanks you.
And I'd like it back when we're done.
You might want to give him some words of instruction. Don't stab me in the back when I turn around.
And then I have some more movement.
All right, some Koatoa on Koatoa action. This Koatoa is going to try to get Drazzle. Does an 11 hit Drazzle?
It does not.
It's your turn now, Drazzle.
Drazzle had no real plan to attack. He was going to read things out, so I'm just now going to cast Blessed on my friends. I'm going to hit the 3 people that are within my zone. So it's going to be Vic, Yaisa, and Dulfix.
Okay.
And so you guys will each get an extra D4 to any attack rolls you make for the next 10 rounds.
Anything else?
Do I see, like, who attacked me?
To your northeast.
Oh, so this guy.
Northeast. Yep.
Then can I just take a bite attack at him?
Yep. AC 13.
I don't know what a good symbol is for
I'm just gonna do the same one that you do.
All right.
Okay. You took 3 points damage out of you.
And I just kind of try to keep my back up against this wall because I really don't know who's who. They all look like fish.
This Koatoa behind the high priest actually tries to attack the high priest. You see him try to bite, misses. Koatoa, and Koatoa. Sareth. Sareth is going to go for the Koatoa behind him. Just 1 short sword hits. And does 5 piercing. Okay. Vic. It's up to you again.
I'm going to. So which one do I know is the priest of the Allfather, or not the Allfather, the Defather?
This guy.
Yeah, right.
That one right there. Okay.
No red dot.
So. Sorry. I'm gonna step up to right here. And I'm going to take a swing at him with my rapier.
Okay. Hits.
And, okay. And click that.
All right.
For 8.
Anything else?
I'll give a bardic inspiration to Drazzle.
Okay.
That'll be
it is now the archpriest of the Sea Mother's turn. He's going for the other high priest. If I can find him anymore. Yep. 2 hits with his scepter. Hit and hit. That is 20 plus. That's 39 points of damage.
You're doing some hella damage.
Yeah, he's looking pretty bad. Oops. Eldeth goes for the one behind him. Behind her, rather. 1 hits. And she takes out one of these guys back here, lethally. In this case.
She not get the memo.
She's a little out of her element, to be honest. And yeah, this is a little too much for her.
She did get
Join the
stabbed.
club. I think we're all.
She did. Okay, he is going to. You hear him yelling something out in Aquan or whatever Croatoan, and you hear a word that you heard before. You hear this lemu goo goo, and he's as if like in fact he turns around to the lake, and you hear him just intone it, and he moves over here, and he goes to.
So that would provoke from Vic.
Oh yeah.
And that Koatoa next to him, if that's a guy on our side.
Yeah, we're just for now. But Vic I'll give Vic one.
Who? That's the priest that moved away.
Yeah, that's
Okay. Yeah, I'll swing at him.
That hits.
Unlethally, of course.
All right.
Non-lethally, of course. Yes.
All right. Yep. I think this is how this is going to happen. Okay. So, he turns and he tries to kill the archpriest of the Sea Mother, or attack him. Kills a little strong. Takes a bite out of him. That bite misses. Swings with the pincher staff. The pincher staff actually hits. And it's basically like, I don't know, it's like almost like a staff, and it has like alligator jaws at the end. And when he finally hits the thing, it grabs the priest of the Sea Mother by the neck. And he is grappled.
I imagine it to be that weird thing. We have the hand grabber, and it's got like an alligator head at the end of a
Basically,
stick.
exactly. Yep, basically exactly like that. I'll show you the picture. I'm just trying to get through. Hemeth gets
Just
up,
bigger.
and he goes for the high priest, and you hear him cursing under his. Actually, you see 2 things. You see him. Everything about the Duragar suddenly enlarges and biggins as he grows, and you see him. He's just gonna roll the d20. D20. 13 hits. And what's a dagger?
D4. And I think it deals an extra D4 when he's enlarged.
So 2d4 plus 2. Yep. The high priest, completely unaware that this Duragar is now free, has his back to it, and you just see as Hemeth jumps up and takes that dagger you just gave him and slices into the back. And you see blood just start to trickle, this green, bluish blood trickle out of the mouth. As he starts to choke, trying to get any breath. And he stumbles, he falls to the ground. And as he falls to the ground, you hear him let out a roar. And it's a deep, echoing
Sounds like surrender.
like I don't. No, it's like it is. It's just like it's like a rumble, and you hear one more time. You hear Limo Gorgon, and he falls, and then everything turns silent for a minute, and then you start to hear another sound, and not only you, everyone starts to hear another sound rising under the burbling, like the language and like just how Koatoa sound. You see the dark surface, as you can see, of the water further out start to bubble and begin to foam. And suddenly you see a thick, black, oily tentacle burst forth. And then another. And then two monstrous heads break the surface, both resembling hideous, angry baboons with wicked, curved tusks. Both heads are attached to a single torso, and the monster's red eyes burn with bloodlust and madness. The creature rising from the dark place must stand at least 30 feet tall, with water like cascading off of it as it breaks the surface with its back and shoulders. Upon reaching its full height, you clearly recognize what is a greater demon standing in front of you. As it lets out a roar from both of its head, and it just roars.
Say, I am an ally here to help.
That is where we're going to leave it, as you guys have just done something to make them on the material plane.
Well, really, that Durgar did.
Yeah. Thank you guys. We'll leave it right there because you left school so far away. We're gonna have some reckoning to do here in a second. I want to thank you guys in the audience for sticking with us for a little bit longer session tonight. We're 20 sides to every story. If you haven't already, please follow the Twitch channel or join our Discord. Both are great ways to figure out what we're up to at any time of day. Our Discord is particularly active most hours. We mostly play D&D, but a lot of other RPGs, a lot of video games as well. If you liked what you saw tonight, we highly encourage you to join our Patreon. Patreon gets one of the benefits is that you get access to our community campaign games, which happen every Friday night, mostly. And right now we're running through two of the Goodman games redos of some classic modules, the Expedition of the Barrier Peaks, which will be tomorrow night, and then alternate weeks is the Lost City. You can also subscribe to our Twitch channel if you have an Amazon Prime subscription. I think they changed the name of it, but whatever Amazon Prime gives you one of the free ones, and that also gets you into those games when we have space available. Check out what we're doing. We don't have everything up there, but for Extra Life next month, and a great way to contribute and to give back. Thank you guys. We will see you same time next week, and as these guys deal with the fact that there is something with a plus 17 to hit right in front of them. So, good night, guys.
Plus 17 to hit. Hopefully not right in front of me.
It's okay. We're gonna level up. We can